All right, fellas, we're back officially. Week one in the books, and our first ever tie. Yes, a tie in league history. I've predicted some, never thought it would actually happen. Uh, Chris and Ben, we'll get into it. Wild, wild. We got an 0 and 1, two teams, 0 and 1. 2 and 3 on the predictions, not start you want. You can see here the games I got right, games I got wrong. Me and Derek, Rory, Caleb, everyone else, I got you wrong. So we'll get into it like we always do. But first, let's hear from our loser of the week, Derek, who has had to make a couple of these videos in the past, finds himself right back where he left off. He hasn't historically been the greatest in this league, but maybe this is the year. Maybe he needs to get one loss out of his system. Derek, what do you have to say, my man?
All right. What's up, guys? Happy to be part of another year of the league. Fortunately, loser of the week, week one. To be honest, looking across the league, I'm not too worried about my team. I think it's too early for an overreaction. I know this doesn't bode well for the Derek sucks at fantasy narrative that we're trying to break here over on my team, but yeah, it was a rough week one, but I think across the board it was pretty slow with everybody. Worst part about my team, probably, Brian Thomas Jr. He had one catch, and he was my second pick. One catch for 11 yards. Thank God he got a rushing touchdown somehow. But yeah, overall not great. Terry McLaurin, 4 points as well. I think the most concerning thing about my team is now I'm looking at it, and my team is just a mashup of mostly players on terrible teams in the NFL, so that can't be good. But I also bought all the Bo Nix hype, and that's looking like it's going to be a big problem for us. But we're going to turn around, no problem. Too early to freak out, like I said before. We're on to next week. Hopefully we'll be back making another video.
Yes, Derek loses by a score of 119 to 100. Low scoring week across the league. Low scoring week across the league. Like you said, I apologize. I made my other league's video before this. Had to get some hot chalky to get ready for the second video. But yes, we'll get into the matchup like we always do. But yes, Derek, ever so busy. Had to make the video in his car. He's too freaking busy for us. Couldn't even make it to Myrtle, but maybe next year when we're up in Delaware, he'll find time for us. Derek, starting with a loss, 119 to 100. On the other side, the other Steelers fan that we have, who is about as opposite as Derek can get right now. He's on cloud 9, 188 burger, won by 50 on the league's second highest score. Wasn't even close. My man Rory, thoughts?
What is up, lads? Najee Nation, winner of the week, checking in. Huge week for the Najee Nation organization. After almost coming in dead last year, starting this year off on the right foot was massive for our fan base. I think I've got everybody who's a Najee Nation fan back in my corner. After this week, the draft went exactly how I wanted to. I wanted Josh Allen, I got him. I had the 6th pick, and I got Saquon. And then after that, I drafted 4 wide receiver ones in Puka, Sutton, Zay Flowers, and Pittman. My running backs are a little scarce outside of Saquon. So if anybody's interested in making the deal there, let me know. Obviously, I beat Caleb this week. Massive. I think I'm now 2-8 against Caleb all time. He usually whoops my ass, but this week I was good. Don't want to ramble too much. Pretty much everybody played good, except for maybe Hawk, but at that point I already had 180, so it didn't matter. I have the best defense in the NFL. I have a good kicker. I don't know what else to say. My team is good. The depth is a problem. 2 comments to end this on. Number 1, Calvin Austin III had 17 fantasy points. I don't want to harp on this, but this is probably going to be a recurring theme this year. He's a good receiver, and Rodgers looked okay. And the Steelers are 1-0. Najee Harris, I don't have really a comment on at this time. I wish he was still in Pittsburgh because I don't really like Jalen Warren, and Caleb Johnson was atrocious. So I think that I wish he was still in Pittsburgh, and I think for that sake, my name is going to stay because I think that I don't want to forget about how great he was in Pittsburgh. So that's it. Had fun week 1. Hopefully my team doesn't crash and burn after this week. Hopefully my team isn't bipolar this year. Shout out to Caleb. Usually beats me, but not this year. So maybe it's a sign that I am back.
Yes, Rory put the brakes on Caleb, 188 to 132. Caleb, second highest scorer across the league, still comes up with an L. That's tough, brother. That's tough for sure. Theirs was the first matchup that I was going to get into anyway. One of the two that I got right outside of my own. So let's dive into it. Yeah, a beat down across the board. Rory, everyone was in double digits except for Hawkinson and his kicker. Broncos D with 16, Pittman with 20, Zay Flowers with 28, Puka with 23, Cortland Sutton with 18, James Conner with 14, Saquon with 18, and then obviously Josh Allen with a 38 burger. 20 of those points were in the fourth quarter. The Ravens with a colossal choke. Rory comes away with a resounding victory. He stated that he got everyone he wanted in the draft. He took Caleb Johnson over Jalen Warren, and Caleb Johnson's already hit the waivers. What's up with that, Rory? That's all I'm saying. But yes, as Caleb said, this is reminiscent of the Myrtle trip with Rory just putting the brakes on Caleb on the greens as well. Caleb, 132. You're not unhappy with that, especially for outside of Rory's team, like generally a low-scoring first week across the league. Across all leagues, honestly. My other leagues were pretty low-scoring too. 132, 26 from Mahomes. That's probably going to be the most he has all year, but we take it for sure. Gibbs only with 15. That feels like not a lot for him, but he should be good, set up to be a workhorse for PPR. Tregon Henderson, the Patriots will get him more involved if they can get their heads out of their ass. Swear to God, if I see Ramondre Stevenson's fat ass running up the sideline and running in to other freaking dudes, I'm going to lose my mind. If we lose the Dolphins, I'm not even going to go there. That's not what this video is about. DJ Moore, 8 points. Evan Ingram, I think he got hurt. A-Kane was saved with that garbage time, 4th and 10 touchdown when they were already down 30 points. Marvin Harrison Jr. looked good. He looked good. He's looking like he's primed to make that second-year leap. Digger, the kicker, with 10. Texans defense with 8. So he's the second highest scorer. He's got to be in good spirits. Caleb Williams on the bench, too, is looking like his QB room should be pretty solid. And then Kyle Pitts, probably in the starting lineup this week with Ingram being banged up, but we'll see, right? We'll see. Our next matchup, Steele and Sam, who made all those trades before the season. Steele, Sam's father, basically took all of Sam's good players. I will say, when I had Sam super high on my power rankings, it was before he traded away most of his good players to Steele. If I had to go back and redo those rankings, I don't think he'd be number one right now. With that being said, 116 to 114, pretty low scoring. Like I said, most games were. Steele basically can thank Lamar Jackson for this victory. 30 points, 29.36. JT, 12 points, which is pretty good considering he didn't get in the end zone. Daniel Jones vultured him twice on the one. RJ Harvey, you want more from that. You probably play J.K. Dobbins or Javonte Williams going forward. JJ, obviously JSN. Mark Andrews was horrible. Needs to get a new tight end. Devontae Adams sucks. Tyreek Hill sucks. Lions defense not great. And then Brandon Aubrey. So Sam's father, I almost said Sam, Steele, squeaks away 116. You love to get a win when you score less than 120 points, as someone who got a win scoring less than 120 points. On the other side of the matchup, Sam, I mean, if he didn't believe in the Cowboys so much, probably wins this game, right? If he doesn't go for the Dak George Pickens stack, he's got other players that are better, and then he wins, but he's a Cowboys fan. CMC looked the part. Ironically, the only healthy 49er with Juwan Jennings and George Kittle and Brock Purdy going down. So CMC is siphoning their health. Chase Brown got an early touchdown. Bengals offense really stalled after that. Drake London looked good. Then he got banged up, but he's fine. Pickens, we already talked about. Tyler Warren, that was a great pick. I will say, Sam, I really wanted him. You got him. That was a great pick. Kenneth Walker, I'd be concerned about. It looks like he's in a split backfield now with Charbs, and Jacoby Myers looked great. Young Hui, is Sam going to keep him when the Falcons cut him? That's the question. Will he burn the roster spot just to prove a point? I could see him doing it, but I don't think he will. That's got to be a bummer for Sam. But yes, he does come away with a 2-point loss here week 1. Steele comes away with the win, 116 to 114. Matchup 3, and my favorite matchup we've ever had. Ben and Chris tie 101 to 0.52. Two of the bottom 3 scores happen to be playing each other. To the decimal point, they tie. I don't think this is ever going to happen again. This is just insane. Ben's side of the matchup, we got Xavier Worthy going down. Looked like he was cooked. Butker saves him with 12 points that game. Waddle did not look good, and Njoku didn't look great. Garrett Wilson looked the part, 22 points. Justin Fields, maybe he's back. I'm ready to get hurt again. I'm all in. Amon-Ra, I think the Lions might be cooked. I think they were Ben Johnson merchants. I think Jared Goff might not be a good quarterback. Chuba, which, by the way, absolutely hilarious that Ben almost missed the draft, joined late, was probably drunk off his ass, drafted Chuba in the 3rd round, left, and then auto-drafted the rest. So reached on Chuba, but got his guy. Surprised he didn't draft Tet, too. I'm sure that Steele's going to be asking him if he wants him. But Josh Jacobs, 14, Joe Burrow, who I think Ben normally drafts Joe Burrow, only 8 points. The Bengals offense normally looks a little slow to start the year. That's on par, but 101.52. On the other side, Chris, also with 101.52. A.J. Brown obviously was his biggest disappointment with 1 point, only caught the ball once. Actually, Jamar was also a huge disappointment. So his 1 and 2 picks did not look great. Actually, A.J. Brown might have been his 3 pick. I don't want to. Yeah, so A.J. Brown was his 3 pick. Bucky was his 2nd pick. Kyler with 18. Bucky with 14. Brees looked great. The Jets offense as a whole looked really good. Kittle looked like he was going to have an absolute day, and then he fucked up his hamstring, and now he's out. He's on IR, and that's a bummer. I have in another league. I don't think Pacheco is good at football anymore. I think that's just what it is. I think ever since he broke his leg, he just isn't good. And the Dunze caught that touchdown at the end. For whatever that Hail Mary hat play flicker thing, I think that's what tied him. But just wild to see them tie on that. Just absolutely awesome. We're never going to see this again. This is just fantastic and makes my life a lot easier at the end of the year with tiebreakers because either of these two teams are involved. I don't have to do the math on that. So, just crazy. 101.52 to 101.52. Matchup 4. Chase and Ford. Got this one wrong too. 131 to 122. Chase takes the win. I will say, I was shocked I didn't get a text from Chase when Travis Kelce scored on Friday night. He probably wasn't watching the game. Or I would have gotten a text about that because I gave him a lot of shit in the draft when he drafted Travis Kelce. Chase was good for the 3rd highest scorer this week. Right after Caleb and Rory. Jalen with 24, Derrick Henry with 29, Kieran Williams with 13. He finds his way in the end zone. Nico Collins, he's real good. Texans real bad. I watched that game. I have him in another league. I'm a little concerned about the Texans offense. CJ Stroud, just one I don't think is good, and their offensive line is just abysmal. So that is something to monitor. Devontae Smith not good either. DK looks decent. Tony Pollard. I mean, Denver's run defense is really good. Pat's defense, you would have liked to see more from them, selfishly. Cam Little, 16 points. So, good matchup, good outing from Chase. 131, 3rd highest score. Ford, 122. Good for top 5. Not enough to get it done this week, unfortunately, with the matchup. Led in scoring by Bijan at that 50-yard touchdown. Jaden with 20. Ricky Pearsall with 14. Brock Bowers, Jerry Jeudy. And then DeAndre Swift. That guy has the worst vision out of any running back in the league, and Najee Harris literally is blind in one eye. That's how bad he is at seeing the field. That guy runs into every single freaking blocker he can run into. If he was on my team, I would be losing my mind watching him every week. T. Higgins, not a great week, but not a great week for the Bengals. Kami C, fine. Matt Golden, super disappointing. But you got Keon Coleman on the bench, you got Bill on the bench, you got Calvin Ridley on the bench. So Dylan Sampson on the bench. I'm sure he's going to figure it out. And when I flip to the next page, I don't think Matt Golden's going to be in a starting lineup when we go over the predictions. But I feel like if you're both these teams, you're happy with the week 1 match results. I feel like Ford obviously wishes he comes away with a dub, but Chase, super happy to be top 3 in scoring. 131 to 122. Chase takes home the win. Final matchup of last week. My inaugural beating of my son. Every year. BTA. 119 to 100. I get very lucky. Bottom 5, I think, in scoring. Still come away with a dub. Thank you, Derek, as always. Led in scoring by Baker and James Cook, both with 22 and 21. CD with 18, should have had more, had a few drops. Trey McBride with 12. Mike Evans with 10. Jawan gets hurt, leaves early. The Eagles defense disappointed. And Will Lutz was fine. Malik Neighbors, fine. You want more out of your 2nd-round pick for sure. But maybe the Giants will eventually bench Russ and we'll be able to have a real quarterback throwing the ball. That'd be nice. Derek, I can really thank Bo Nix for handing me this win because, man, does he stink. I used to be a Bo leaver. I have Bo in another league. I'm no longer a Bo leaver. Bo blows. That guy stinks. Just not a good QB. Genty found the end zone against my beloved Patriots. Kamara found the end zone. BTJ found the end zone. Only one catch, had that end around. Terry didn't have a good day. Laporta was decent with 13 points. Aaron Jones was leading scorer. Omarion Hampton, honestly, I know he's a rookie. Chiefs' run defense is real good. I'm not concerned about Omarion Hampton if I'm Derek. He looked real fast, looked good. I wouldn't be concerned. Steelers' defense with 1 was tough, but Boswell with 16. That was not tough. That was good. But yes, Derek, 100, barely breaks 100. Loser of the week, hands me a victory, 119-100. Thank you, Derek. And those were our matchups this first week. Let's get into some predictions. First matchup. And they come in both projected for 137, 0.7 point difference. Ben and Steele. This is an interesting matchup. I keep finding myself liking Steele's team more, which is unfortunate for sure. We'll do Steele's side of the matchup first. Lamar against the Browns. That's a weird matchup for the Ravens. They always end up losing that game somehow, even though they're the much better team. JT against Denver. That's not a great matchup. Javonte against Giants is fine. JJ is matchup proof. JSN against Pittsburgh. He got Harold Fannin off the waivers. That's a great pickup, Steele. You're plugged in. You're plugged into what's going on in the fantasy football community. Devontae Adams sucks. You probably shouldn't start him. And then Egbuka, I'm trying to get him to trade him to me. I can't believe Sam just gave him to you for free. Just wild thing for him to do. Packers defense against Washington. That's an interesting start because Washington has a pretty good offense. Packers defense is obviously pretty good, but that is an interesting start. And then Brandon Aubrey. So that's Steele's side of the matchup. Ben, Burrow, Jacobs, Chuba, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Travis Etienne, my mortal nemesis, does find his way into the starting lineup. He's looking like he's going to be decent. He had more points in week 1 this week than he did the entire season last year, which is just freaking awesome, right, guys? And then Njoku. So we do have a Browns tight end matchup here. They are going against each other, which is awesome just to watch from the outside. Vikings defense against Atlanta. So projected to tie. I do think Steele comes away with this one. Lamar is just so good. And I like the Harold Fannin Jr. play. I know ESPN isn't as high on him as most people are. He's only projected for 8 points. I think he probably beats that. But yeah, I think Ibuka beats his projection. Fannin beats his projection. But it's going to be a good matchup. I like both these teams this week. Matchup 2. The league leading scorer, Najee Nation, going against the league's lowest scorer, Derek Taylor. Derek, I do think you need a new team name. You need to inspire some confidence in the boys in the locker room because they're going into it. They're like, have mercy. We're going to lose. You got to fire up some confidence in the fellas. Rory comes in about a 7-point favorite. He's got Josh Allen against the Jets, Saquon. Chiefs run defense is pretty good, but he's Saquon. James Conner, Puka, Cortland Sutton, Hawk, Zay Flowers, Pittman, Broncos, D, and Jake Bates. So I don't think we made any changes. I think he did pick up. He drafted Calvin Johnson. He told me this week he might drop Najee, which would be a disaster for the league. If Najee Nation no longer has Najee, that would just be unflappable, and we can't be having that, Rory. We can't be having that. On Derek's side of the matchup, Bo Nix again. I am surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised. I'm a little disappointed, but whatever. He's made no matchup changes at all since last week when he was the lowest scorer. Genty, Kamara, BTJ, Terry, Laporta, Hampton, Aaron Jones, Steelers. I just went over his team. There's been no changes. I don't even know if he put waivers in. I don't know. Actually, did he start J-Mo last week? Maybe. If you started J-Mo last week and you made a change, apologies, but you get what I'm trying to say. Long story short, I'm picking Rory. League's highest scorer, league's lowest scorer. Let's go with the highest scorer. Matchup 3, and I just recorded this one and it didn't record for some reason. And I already recorded my other league's video. So I've been talking for like an hour and a half at this point. But you guys don't give a shit about that. Ford and Caleb. Ford comes in as a 4-point favorite, as I just said to the Void. Both these teams, I think, deserved to win last week. Neither of these teams, I think, should be 0-2, and yet one of them will be unless they tie, which obviously isn't going to happen. On Ford's side of the matchup, Jaden, Bijan, Swift, T. Higgins, Judy, Bowers, Pearsall. He subs in Keon Coleman for Matt Golden. I was right in that prediction there. The Ravens defense, that was a good stash from last week for the Browns this week. Jake Elliott. Caleb Mahomes, you guys know I'm not super high on him as a fantasy QB. Gibbs, A.K. and McConkey, DJ Moore, Evan Ingram, Trevion, Marvin Harrison, Texans defense. So I don't think he's made any changes since last week. I will tell you that it might be Kyle Pitts' time, Caleb. I don't know if Evan Ingram's going to play. I know he's been dealing with a calf injury. I'm not sure if he practiced today. I will also say Cooper Kupp's washed. I know you have him rostered. I know we believe he ain't going to do it. He's doing nothing this year. I can guarantee you that. And if he scores a touchdown, so be it. But he's washed up. He's done. He's cooked. I want both these teams to get in the win column. They're both good teams. They both probably deserve to win last week, but only one of them can get in. With all that being said, as I just said to no one, and I'll say it again, I will be taking Ford in this one. But Caleb, I hope you get a win after this one, unless it's against me. Matchup 4. Chris and Chase. Chase, our league's second place, third highest score from week 1, comes in at about a 9-point favorite here. And Chris was last year just a flash in the pan. Comes in, scores 101 week 1. George Kittle goes down with an injury, hits the IR, which is tough. Jordan Addison suspended. Isaiah Pacheco's not good. He could be in trouble. We could be in trouble early here, Mr. Chris. Kyler, Bucky, Brees, who did look good. Jamar, A.J. Brown, Tucker Kraft, the Dunze, Diggs, Colts D against Denver, Chase McLaughlin. On Chase's side of the ball, we got the retirement home, as we already talked about with Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce, Tony Pollard, DK, Debo, who is very fat, as I've been saying. Very fat man right there. I can't get over how fat he is. Lost my train of thought. And Nico Collins and Kyron Williams. He comes in at a 9-point favorite, almost a 10-point favorite. So basically double-digit favorite. At that point, it's basically 20 points. Devontae does find his way to the bench. Jordan Mason, who, that was a pretty good pick too. He's looking like he's the Vikings running back 1. Chase's team, outside of his tight end room, is looking good. It's looking very good. Cedric Tillman too. He's got a very deep squad. So the more I think about it, the more I was probably a little harsh on Chase for the power ranking, but you can't go back and change it. And he does have the league's most impressive resume with the most third-place finishes. So with all that being said, I think Chase takes this one. He goes 2-0. Chris drops to 0-1-1, not 0-2 because he did tie 0-1-1. But I'm a little stressed right now with Kittle going down. If I'm Chris, obviously Jamar's going to turn it around, but Kyler stinks. He does get Juwan Johnson. I don't know what he's planning on doing. And Ramondre stinks too. So yeah, it's going to be Chase. Our last matchup, me and my men's league team, newest edition, Sam Walkup. Yes, Sam will be coming down to Richmond to play on our men's league team along with me, Rory, George, perhaps Jackson. So anyone in the Central Virginia area, you're welcome to come hoop. But yes, me and Sam, I come in as an 8-point favorite. Sam freaking put in a claim for Kayshon Boutte, which I thought was very rude because I thought I was going to get him because why does anyone else want him? But I didn't get him. I was pretty bummed about that. Dak against the Giants, CMC obviously is great. Does he take a hit with Mac Jones at the helm? Side note, I've been saying for years, as a Patriots fan who thinks Mac Jones sucks, that Mac Jones could do what Brock Purdy does in San Francisco. I've been saying it for years. I said put him in Kyle Shanahan's offense and he can do what Purdy does. And now that take is about to be put to the test. And I am very excited. So, we'll see. Chase Brown, Drake London, George Pickens, Tyler Warren, Kenneth Walker, Jacoby Myers, Bills defense against the Jets. So, he got a new defense. I don't think he's made any changes outside of that. He still got Younghoe. I guess he's hoping he doesn't get cut this week, even though they're bringing in kickers. But I come in as an 8-point favorite. I got Baker, James Cook, Montgomery, CD, Malik Neighbors, Trey McBride, Mike Evans, Jalen Warren right now. I was honestly going to start Boutte in that slot just for fun as a Pats fan, but I don't get to. So thanks, Sam. Got Quentin Johnson off the waivers. Maybe we'll see if that was a flash in the pan like Gilliam, but I'm not sure. I got Tyler Loop, my new kicker, Ravens kicker, 49ers defense against the Saints. I will be picking myself to win until I start losing. That's always been my strategy. Even when I start losing, sometimes I'll still pick myself. But yes, I think hopefully I go to 2-0. Maybe Sam goes to 0-2. And we'll go from there. But thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate this league. Let's get some more trades. Maybe outside of Sam and Steele, just swapping their players. But other than that, thanks for watching. Good luck to everyone this week. And this is your president of the CA3 fan club signing out.